Good afternoon. The NVUSD Board of Education is holding a regular board meeting tonight, and we invite participation either remotely or in person. Directions on how to participate via Zoom are available at nvusd.org/board. The open session part of this meeting will begin at around 7 p.m. Before going into closed session, the board is available for public comment on closed session agenda items. Ms. Green, do we have any public comment on closed session agenda items?
There is no public comment on closed session items.
Seeing that there are none, the board will now adjourn into closed session. Okay. Good evening. My name is Eve Reiser, and this is the Napa Valley Unified School District Board of Education. The NVUSD Board of Education is holding a regular board meeting tonight, and we invite participation either remotely or in person. Directions on how to participate via Zoom are available at nvusd.org/board. Interpretation in Spanish is available for tonight's virtual board meeting. Our interpreters are Isidra Mencos and Ashley Heil. One of the interpreters will now translate the directions on our English channel so our Spanish-speaking families may hear the instructions.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a todos. Los servicios de interpretación simultánea están disponibles para esta reunión. Para escuchar en español, en un momento va a haber un icono de un globo terráqueo en la parte inferior de su pantalla. Una vez que aparezca, haga clic en el icono y luego selecciona la opción de escuchar en español. Muchas gracias y la reunión comenzará en breve.
Thank you very much. Can we please start with an attendance roll call from Vera Morales, Executive Assistant?
Yes, Student Board Member De Reza Cifuentes. Here. Trustee
Here. Present.
Trustee Shu.
Present.
Trustee Gonzalez Mares.
Present.
Trustee Hart.
Present.
Trustee Jankowicz.
Present.
Trustee Martin.
Present.
Trustee Water.
Present.
Quorum present. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight for our NVUSD board meeting. E1, report on closed session. Trustee Gonzalez Mares, do you have a report on closed session agenda items?
Yes, thank you, President Reiser. Yes, we do have report on closed session items in regards to item D1, student discipline. With respect to every item of business to be discussed in closed session pursuant to Ed Code 35146 and 489122, Government Code Section 49060 and 49078, and the Family Rights and Privacy Act. In regards to student matters, item D1A, expulsions for a student, the board recommends the expulsion of student 03272025A.
Thank you. Ms. Morales, can we have a roll call vote, please? Oh, I'm sorry. Could I please get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
I'll second.
I have a first from Trustee Hart, a second from Trustee Chu. Now, Ms. Morales, could we please proceed with the roll call vote?
Yes. Trustee Reiser.
Aye.
Trustee Shu.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez Mares.
Aye.
Trustee Hart.
Aye.
Trustee Jankowicz.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Water.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
In regards to the second case, the board recommends the expulsion of student 03272025B.
Move to approve. Second.
So first by Trustee Chu, second by Trustee Hart. May we have a roll call vote, please, Ms. Morales?
Yes. Trustee Reiser.
Aye.
Trustee Shu.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez Mares.
Aye.
Trustee Hart.
Aye.
Trustee Jankowicz.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Water.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
In addition, item D2B regarding personnel, the board took action in the settlement and general release agreement of certificated employee number 1441. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Gonzalez Mares. Now we come to item E2, the flag salute, and I'm going to invite our student board member, Teresa Cifuentes, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you so much. E3, announcement. This meeting is live streamed and recorded via Zoom and will be archived on the district YouTube channel. For a detailed review of any meeting agenda item, the archived video can be referenced on the district's webpage at nvusd.org. The process for public comment can also be found on the district's webpage. E4, approval of agenda.
So
I have a
moved.
motion.
Second.
We have a first from trustee Water, a second from trustee Hart. All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. E5, approval of minutes.
Move to approve?
Oh, I'm sorry. Now I'm reading, it says no record of minutes are approved at this meeting. I didn't need to do that one. E6, recognition of visitors and employee organizations. Dr. Massetti, do we have any visitors in attendance?
I'm just looking online. I thought I saw CSEA President Jackie Clayton earlier. I'm looking for her. No? Okay, and I do not have any of our union leaders online either, so not tonight.
Okay, thank you. So that brings us to F, recognitions of students of the month. We're going to begin with the Napa Valley Adult School. Will Principal Colleen Peterson please present the students of the month?
All right, good evening. I'm Nieves Ochoa. I'm the ESL Program Coordinator at Napa Valley Adult Education, and I'm delighted to join in celebrating Berta Torres this evening. She has been enrolled in the ESL program for about a year, and in that short period of time, she has made tremendous progress. Berta's teacher, Valerie Cerebellis-Cole, who is here with us tonight, shares that Berta is a dedicated student and a single parent to a son with special needs. She meets each day with extremely positive outlook, and her enthusiasm for learning is a benefit to other students. So it's my pleasure to introduce Berta Torres.
Hi, good evening. My name is Berta Torres. I'm from Mexico, and I have one son. My son is a special boy. He depends entirely on me. I moved to Napa Valley a year ago, looking for a better quality of life for my son. When I arrived in California, I was looking for a place to learn English, and my friend told me about the adult school. And after orientation, I was accepted into the high beginner level, where I'm currently. Now, I just want to say thank you, Adult School, because this school has been a great opportunity for me and for my son. Now, I can have short conversation with my son's doctor. I can make his appointments, and that is thanks to the Adult School. Thanks again for this program. Thank you so much to my teacher, Valerie, for her patience. Adult School give me hope to change my future and the future for my son, too. Thank you to everyone who made this possible. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. We'll all just gather around.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Looks good. Thank you. Thank you.
So Berta was for January, and for February, we have another student, and I'd like to introduce Laurel Leonard Broll, who is our Supervisor of Career Technical Education.
Good evening. My name is Laurel Leonard Broll, and I'm pleased to present our February Student of the Month. Araceli Gonzalez was a student in the Fall Business and Computer Training Program. She lives in Vallejo, and she has 2 young daughters. Araceli currently works in a wine warehouse and wants to get a new job using the skills she learned in these classes. In addition to computer training, she completed the Communication in the Workplace and Leadership Essentials courses offered through Napa Valley College. She wanted to gain additional skills that she knows will benefit her in the workplace. She has a busy schedule as a working parent, but was always engaged in class and committed to learning, completing her classwork in person and remotely. And these are quotes from her teachers. They're sorry they couldn't be here to celebrate her. She's a model student and shows what it takes to overcome the challenges of being a busy working parent and going to school in order to create a better future for herself and her family. It's my pleasure to introduce Araceli Gonzalez.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Araceli Gonzalez. I am very thankful that I was chosen Student of the Month. I also wanted to thank the board members and everyone who was involved for choosing me for Student of the Month. I also want to thank my family for supporting me through all the classes. I started taking classes at Napa Valley Adult School to find a better job and to get a better education, and possibly going back to college. My computer classes were challenging but exciting. I loved taking the classes because I got to learn new things that I didn't know. Excel was challenging for me because I would have to memorize the formulas and understand the formulas, what they were meant for. One thing that I'm very thankful are for the teachers, Ms. Sherry and Ms. Sarah. They were very helpful. They made sure that the students understand the assignment and showed us how to work step by step. They made sure we knew how to turn in our assignments correctly, and they would also help us one by one. I am now taking level 2 classes, which I'm excited to explore more about. I'm taking level 2 courses right now, and I'm excited to take Excel because I want to work in a business where I could use Excel. I know it would be challenging for me, but I like how you can add numbers and keep track of everything. I am very thankful for this award, and thank you, and have a wonderful night. Sorry.
Wonderful. Congratulations to Berta and Araceli. Now will Principal Abidev please present the Students of the Month for New Technology High School, and I think that will be via Zoom.
Good evening, NVUSD Board of Trustees, President Reiser, and Dr. Massetti, and congratulations to the Student of the Month winners at Napa Valley Adult Education. The end of the school year is coming quickly for our Penguin community. Graduation for our class of 2025 is in less than 10 weeks, and I have the pleasure this evening of recognizing 2 members of that graduating class. Our January focus value for Student of the Month nominees was connected to the theme of critical thinking. Students were nominated based on showing skilled analysis and drawing connections from learned content. All of our January nominees embody these skills, but we have one winner, and that is senior Luis Ortega. Luis started his high school journey always curious and looking for a challenge. At times in his first couple of years, he didn't always produce up to his potential. But what I found most impressive in Luis's growth, especially in his senior year, is his very honest reflection of where he needed to focus to meet his own goals and what support he needed along the way. Luis has thought about what success looks like for him and is making those choices to pursue those goals. Staff at UTech share that seeing Luis really dive into his passions of nature, forestry, and fishing has been a pleasure to see. Luis plans to complete a degree in wildlife management once he graduates. Luis is here via Zoom and has prepared a statement to share with the board.
Hello, good evening to everyone. My name is Luis Ortega. I would like to start off by thanking the NVUSD because without them, I would not have gotten up to this point in my life. The nomination of Student of the Month for the month of January is something that I would never have thought I would have thought unobtainable even a year ago. And it is a great honor that the community in NewTek thinks so highly of me to be a nominee. I would like to say some things that I admire about my experience at NewTek throughout these years. A good start would be to talk about the unique opportunity that we have at NewTek to take a myriad of classes from Napa Valley College in campus, as well as hybrid in campus, as well as online lessons, as well as a couple that are in the Napa Valley College. I feel like it has benefited me because of a higher standard required for those assignments to be turned in, thus setting the bar higher for me early on when it comes to all my other classes, making it easier to just turn in assignments at a higher quality. I also appreciate that since the school is smaller, the teachers and administration have more time to dedicate to the students with any problems that may arise. I have come to appreciate these things in my last year of high school, something that I took for granted in the years prior. I'd like to say a short personal story. Honestly, when I first got to high school, I was so-and-so when it comes to my academics. I did have some interest, notably one, which was in biology. I had an interest early on in biology, oceanography, everything that has to do with nature. And after that, starting of my sophomore, junior, after the start of those years, I will admit I didn't really take school too seriously. I wouldn't show up half the time. I'd go on weeks without even showing up to school. I'd go on a good amount of time without doing any of my assignments. To keep it frank, I'd be a pain in the ass to a lot of my teachers. Like, genuinely, I am not sure how they dealt with me, but, well, here we are. I'd like to give a thanks to Mr. Biggs and Mr. Dev for never giving up on me throughout these last couple of years. And I will admit that is a task in and of itself. Genuinely, I feel like I couldn't have done it. But also, NewTek has given me a new perspective in life. It has taught me that determination, and as long as I put in effort into anything that I deem important and that I am determined to, I can achieve it, and it is not out of the reality. I will admit, at one point, I didn't really care about school. Not to say Valley Oak is a bad school. In my opinion, it does have a bad image, but I wanted to transfer to Valley Oak just for the simple reason of getting out of school early, because I genuinely didn't want to be there. But then at the start of my senior year, I kind of said to myself, I was like, you're gonna go over there to get out like 2, 3, whatever so and so months early. Why don't you just commit yourself and actually try, and you can get the diploma that you want, and you can graduate with all your friends and all the people that you've known throughout years and years, all the way back to elementary school. So I just tried, I put in effort, stayed up late countless times, paid attention in class, took notes, did anything that I needed to do. Along the way, I would get an occasional reminders or heads up from faculty, Mr. Dev, anyone that was available when I wasn't on track or I felt like I was like going in the wrong direction, and that'd steer me in the right way, which was a great help, and I greatly appreciate that. That determination that I was able to focus this school year into staying on track, completing all my missing credits, and getting good grades for once in my whole life. I plan to use that determination starting this fall, and I plan to get a degree in fisheries and wildlife management. Sorry about that. And I'll be attending Napa College. Still deciding where to transfer from there. Looking into that. UC Davis, UC Berkeley. At first, I wanted to go to Berkeley, but I was told by one of the counselors at school that first, it's more important to go where you're going to get a good education for a good price rather than to go for the name. And it is something that has stuck with me. It is better to get a good education than just to go for the name. So I plan on staying committed, and we'll see how it goes from here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Luis. Great job. Our February focus value at UTech High School for our Student of the Month nominees was around strong communicators. These students express ideas clearly and confidently, both verbally and in writing. They also excel at active listening and engage in meaningful dialogue. Our winner in February has shown real growth in all of these areas of communication, so congratulations to Flor Tavera Garcia. Over the last 4 years, Flor has shown great improvement in taking the lead on projects and including everyone in on group decisions. I had the pleasure of being Flor's teacher back in her freshman year, and communicating using multiple modalities was a challenge for her. But she would and continues to always ask for feedback so she can grow every day. Flor has found her voice in so many ways, including giving some of the most memorable final project presentations that staff have seen within this graduating class. Flor continues to take risks in discovering what it is she wants to do next and has made the decision to go into the education field. Flor's internship with the Cool Schools After School program helped guide her to this next step. Flor is also here via Zoom this evening and would like to share her statement.
Hi, hope you guys can. Hello, my name is Flor Tavera Garcia. I would like to give thanks for nominating me for the Student of the Month. This is the biggest honor that ever happened to me in a long time. I would like to share that New Technology High School is a wonderful school. New Tech is not just a typical high school because they push you to be career focused. This high school showed me lots of new things. One was to communicate better. New Tech challenges being a better advocate for my needs. The high school showed me of how to be capable of great things. I'm working on becoming a teacher. I'm currently doing a part-time job called Cool School, which is an organization that helps kids after school. I would like to share out my personal story. When I was a freshman, I hated communicating. with other students. I felt alone. I felt like I was on my own. And I had only one best friend to go to when I'm upset. But thanks to the school, they helped me feel welcome. They helped me communicate better, which helped me make more friends, which I'm still with to this day. Thanks to my teachers, Mr. Dev, Ms. Miller, and Mr. Rao, they have been a biggest highlight throughout my 4 years of high school, and hope that will support me throughout my school day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to our Students of the Month from New Technology High School. That brings us to G on our agenda, public comment on non-agenda items. Trustee Gonzalez Mares, did we receive any public comment on non-agenda items via email?
No public comment on non-agenda items were submitted via email at publiccomment@nvusd.org before 8 a.m. this morning.
Thank you very much. Before I open the floor to public comment on non-agenda items, I would like to explain the rules that govern this area of the meeting. The Brown Act open meeting laws under which we are required to operate prohibit board members from discussing items that you may bring up that are not on our current agenda. The reason for this legal restriction is to make sure that anyone who has an interest in a particular district business matter knows through the board's posted agenda when we will be discussing it as a board, so they can also be present and provide input on the item. We're very happy to have you here to let us know your concerns. Please know that while we cannot discuss items that are not on our agenda, we are listening to your voices, and we expect and know that our staff will follow up with us on issues raised by members of our community. Relevant to the remainder of the board agenda, please understand that the board listens and considers public comment on the agendized items during our meeting. However, public comment is not intended to be a two-way dialogue between the public and board members and/or staff, and therefore trustees will not respond to individual comments. This is in accordance with our meeting procedures. We invite members of the public to provide input via public comment per our board bylaw 9323 regarding meeting agenda items. We welcome and appreciate the public's engagement and input. Thank you for being here. In sum, please know that your voice matters and makes a difference. Your public comment on agendized items might be referenced during our discussions and will be considered as we make decisions regarding agendized items. So that being said, that brings us to public comment in the boardroom. I have Matthew McMahon.
Sweet. All right. Didn't think I was going first. Good evening, trustees. My name is Matthew McMahon, and I'm a parent of 2 children at Willow Elementary School. I also grew up in Napa, going K through 12 at Los Carneros Elementary School, Pueblo Vista Elementary School, Redwood Middle School, and Napa High. I'm also the former vice president, and as of this year, expanded my focus, taking on the fundraising chairperson role for Willow's PAFA organization. I have led our PAFA community in raising hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to support our Artful Learning program. I'm here tonight to urge the school board to consider Willow as a TK through 8 option as you move forward with assessing expansion options. The Artful Learning program at Willow provides support for both of my students and their academics and their ability to express themselves in creative ways, allowing them to dive deeper into their understanding of concepts and really growing their mastery of subject matter. We are a family that began our children's educational journey at Vichy Elementary School and made the conscious decision to switch to Willow Elementary for this Artful Learning program. We have seen the difference in our children's learning growth and are incredibly grateful that this curriculum is offered within our district. However, I am here tonight to express my concern that the district is seemingly moving forward with a TK through 8 expansion effort at Vichy without being able to clearly articulate what factors are guiding this decision-making process. Willow, and for that matter, many other schools in our district should be given equal consideration in this expansion process. We urge you to center the tenets of, number one, equity. The data shows that Willow is about 20% more diverse than both Vichy and Browns Valley, which was your last TK through 8 rollout. When school communities are truly diverse, students from all backgrounds benefit. How are you centering equity and diversity in this expansion decision? We hope we as a district are not beginning a pattern of creating white flight schools, and that the district is working to nurture campuses that more closely reflect Napa County demographics as a whole. Number two, transparency. We urge you to place the TK through 8 exploration discussion on the upcoming board agenda. We are looking forward to hearing from you and other board members with more transparency about this decision-making process in a public forum. And number three, community voice. We saw in the email from the district that you are moving forward surveying interest at Vichy for a TK through 8. We would appreciate the same consideration at Willow, and for that matter, we think district-to-parent engagement on this matter should cast a larger net as a whole. In closing, we hope you will not make these expansion decisions lightly and will act to share a clear plan for your TK through 8 expansion efforts moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. McMahon, I'd just like to, one thing, I'd just like to let you know that there's been a parent meeting scheduled at Willow on Tuesday. At that parent meeting, we will be presenting the criteria that we're using, and there will be a subsequent presentation at an upcoming board meeting regarding that criteria. So we look forward to meeting your requests. Great.
So that brings us to Kate Jessup.
Hello, I'm Kate Jessup. I'm a mom of a kindergartner at Willow Elementary, and I'm here to represent, positive reinforcement for the case for it to become a TK through 8th grade. I grew up in St. Helena, so I'm very familiar with a small school, and I struggled in middle school myself. It's a hard time, and there's a lot of different things that happen during middle school, especially nowadays with social media and everything that's going on in the world. And so to have my son close to our home, close to our hearts is very important to me for his adolescent years. Also, that Artful Learning program has blown me away. I don't know what I was doing in kindergarten, but it was not what is coming out of the classroom with his art and his learning, and how much he's it's blowing my mind at how much he's doing and expressing himself, and how cool it is that there's curriculum out there that's supporting, and that's such a beautiful growth from when I was in elementary school. So I'd love to keep him in the neighborhood. I'd love to keep him in a small community, and I just would love to thank you for setting up the meeting on Tuesday. I'm really looking forward to hearing how this could all look if it were to move forward, and we just appreciate your time, so thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up is Nicole Wenzel.
Good evening, trustees. My name is Nicole Wenzel, and I have 2 young boys in Willow Elementary School. I'm here tonight to support my fellow Willow community, to advocate for considering Willow to expand into a TK through 8 experience. The Artful Learning program is so special and so unique, and we just would like to see it continue, and it would be a shame if our students can't continue in that path. I won't go into further detail. I know my other parents here will be wonderfully articulating the needs, but I just wanted to urge you to consider this expansion. Thank you.
Thank you. Ashley Walker.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Walker, and I'm a proud mom of 3 with my eldest daughter attending Willow Elementary School and 2 others set to join her at Willow in the coming years. I'm here again to continue to advocate for Willow and our Willow community to have a seat at the table as the district considers their options for adding an additional TK through 8 in the district. I couldn't help but reference your Transforming Our Future Together 2024 through 2029 strategic plan over the last few weeks as I've reflected on our work together as a Willow community. As I'm sure you are well aware, more than I am, one of the 4 themed areas is a collaborative approach to thoughtful implementation, with one of the sub-strategies being to establish a system-wide approach for family and community engagement. I'm here tonight to share my appreciation to Superintendent Dr. Mercetti, our school principal Ginger Dunn, and our Area 7 Representative Trustee Hart for their willingness to engage our Willow community in this conversation and for truly living into this strategic priority that you all have set. We are very excited to learn that there is a parent night at Willow on Tuesday, April 1st, and that it has been confirmed. We're grateful for your time, and we're also grateful for the childcare and translation that you're providing to make sure that this night is really accessible to all of our families. At the same time, we hope that this info night is a true opportunity to begin the dialogue and to really have Willow have a seat at the table as this decision-making process is hopefully still ongoing and not already rolling out a already made decision. And I also want to communicate that I hope that you all know this is coming from a beautiful place. Like, we love Willow. Like, this is a very positive, it's positive why we're here. It's a lot of families with a lot of community centered around this beautiful campus, and you've heard so many different testimonies, and we want to stay at Willow, and that should really be seen as a bright spot in our district. When I know you all are facing declining enrollment and a series of other challenges, this really could capitalize on a bright spot that we're experiencing together at Willow. And on that same note, I also want to urge the board to continue to center equity when making this decision. Some of my other Willow parents have cited some data that, we're really centering our reflections around, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from you on Tuesday. I also would like to call out in my 35 seconds that another data source that seems important to us that maybe you can consider and share more about on Tuesday is that when we looked at your enrollment report from November 5th, 2024, Willow has 473 students to Vichy's 298. Willow more closely aligns to the enrollment size of your previous 2 elementary TK through 8 expansions, being Browns Valley and Shear, before they added their middle school. We hope that an investment such as this one would also take into account enrollment numbers and the number of potential students who would benefit from this expansion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Catherine Van Treese.
Good evening, trustees. My name is Catherine Van Treese. I was here at the last meeting. I'm a parent of a first grader and soon to be kindergartner at Willow. I am also a very recently resigned teacher from Redwood. I was a language arts, social studies avid teacher there since 2014, and I was just cleared this week to start subbing in the district. So I'm looking forward to coming back in a different capacity. I'm here again to urge the school board to consider Willow as a TK through 8 campus as you move forward with assessing expansion options. We are very grateful to hear about the meeting on Tuesday, so thank you. I just wanted to share with you, we sent out a survey on Monday, just a couple days ago, very informally to parents, basically through word of mouth. We sent it out in English and Spanish to as many parents as we could reach. We're hoping to follow this up with a more formal district survey that can reach all Willow parents, but we wanted to kind of share with you what we learned. We received 75 parent responses. I think it's grown since I wrote this, mostly within the first 24 hours of the survey. The survey has indicated a strong desire for Willow to be a TK through 8 site. 97% of respondents indicated they want to see Willow expand. 2% unsure, and only 1 no response. This represented parents from all current Willow grades, TK through 5. When asked where they currently plan to send their students to middle school, with the ability to check multiple boxes, only 36% indicated they plan to send their student to our neighborhood school, Redwood. 33% want to send their student to Unidos, which, although located in our neighborhood and closer in proximity to our school than Redwood, is really less of a viable option, as it is the middle school with the highest number of applicants, the largest waiting list, and is also giving priority to the dual immersion students coming from MVLA and Pueblo Vista. 33% were undecided, and 30% indicated they would leave the district to attend a private or charter school. Lastly, 80% of parents surveyed indicated that they wanted to attend a meeting with Dr. Musetti. To echo what Ashley said, we're really thrilled that the district will be providing childcare and Spanish translation. We are hoping that as many parents that can attend can become more informed about the process and advocate for their children. So we're happy to hear that we'll get more clarity. Just to echo really quickly, the Artful Learning Magnet is amazing. We've heard from Willow teachers about the impact on their own practice and its creation of sustainable learning opportunities for their students. Many of them cite the program as being something special that they truly believe in and that has a measurable impact on student learning. And from a teacher and parent perspective, I can say that's definitely true. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next commenter, Sarah Minko.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Minko. I am a parent of a Willow student and one to come next year. I'm also an educator. I lecture at UC Berkeley. So education is really important to me. This message I'm about to read, I did not write. It's from a parent that couldn't be here today. So her name is Alessandra Murillo, and I'm a parent of a first grade student attending Willow Elementary. I'm writing to strongly advocate for the extension of Willow Elementary to K through 8th grade. Our school is a vital part of the Napa community, and this expansion would provide incredible benefits to our youth and families. First and foremost, Willow is home to one of the country's most diverse student bodies. Expanding our school to include middle grades would allow our students to continue their education in a culturally rich and inclusive environment, one where they feel seen, supported, and valued. Research shows that K-8 schools help students build stronger relationships with teachers and peers, leading to improved academic and social outcomes. Additionally, Willow is the only elementary school with an Artful Learning Magnet. This unique program fosters creativity, critical thinking, and problem solving, skills essential for success in today's world. By expanding to K-8, we can continue nurturing students' artistic and academic growth without disruption, ensuring they have access to specialized arts education at a crucial time in their development. A K-8 expansion would also provide families with greater stability, reducing transitions that can be disruptive to students' academic progress. Many families choose Willow today for both of these highly valued reasons, so allowing students to stay through 8th grade would only strengthen our tight-knit community and give them a more cohesive educational experience. I urge you to thoroughly consider the benefits this expansion would bring to our Napa community and to weigh this decision with the same careful consideration given to others such as Vichy. A decision in favor of Willow would directly benefit our students and strengthen academic success across the district. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next commenter, Norma Ortiz, the student. Norma.
Hello. Hello, my name is Norma Ortiz Barraza, and I'm a 10th grader, and I attend Napa High School. And I'm here to talk about an ongoing issue regarding the potential reduction of counselors at school sites. As a result, I believe cutting counselor positions would seriously harm the well-being of students, particularly those from low-income communities, English language learners, ELLs, special education students, and foster youth. Counselors are crucial in providing emotional support, helping with academic struggles, and addressing mental health issues, something that's especially needed in these groups. Without enough counselors, many students might feel lost or unsupported, which can make it harder for us to succeed in school and cope with challenges outside of the classroom. This problem also impacts Latino students, who are often a large part of these vulnerable groups. If we lose counselors, it feels like we're being set up for failure instead of success. On top of that, it's frustrating to see so much of the budget going to more administrative positions at the district level instead of putting resources where they're truly needed, like in our schools. Rather than focusing resources on top-heavy administration, it is essential to prioritize direct student support, particularly for those who need it most. In all, keeping counselor positions is essential for ensuring that every student, no matter their background, has a chance to thrive academically and personally. Please take these words into consideration. Also, I have something that I would like to say regarding the tech for the tech department. So I've been experiencing a lot of difficulties, not only me, but also other people in my classroom, as well as my English teacher specifically. We try to have add-on extensions on Google Docs, and a lot of them are like not available. They're only available on her end. Also, a lot of sites are like restricted. Like I know ProQuest doesn't let me enter, and it's really useful for my AP seminar class. As well as other sites that I'm not able to go into, which says it's restricted. Also, a new update that doesn't allow me to go into my previous tabs. When I shut my computer, it restarts it all over again and makes me re-log in, which I understand why that can be like maybe a security issue, but I feel like it would be more useful not to have that, because then all the work doesn't get saved, and it should be getting saved, but it's not like it would previously. Anyways, thank you.
Thank you. And our last commenter is Norma Ortiz, Senior.
Good evening, NVUSD board members, student representative, and the Napa Valley community as a whole. My name is Norma Ortiz, and as a parent and family member of NVUSD middle and high school students and a community member, the district should allocate resources and the budget to retain, recruit social, emotional, and skilled individuals, employees, especially where there is a need, as in this case, our counselors and instructional intervention support teams at our school sites, who integrate emotional intelligence and deliver strong leadership practices, guide, coach, role model expectations, and who are equipped with real-life experiences and critical thinking skills to support our students and families navigating the education system in various ways. The following positions have been advertised through EdJoin, the NVUSD Director 3 of Multilingual Learner Services, Parent Engagement position to support on parent ELAC and DLAC engagement, which already closed this month, and the Director 3 of Intervention Prevention Services, which closes on 4/4/25. According to the Napa Valley Register, NVUSD cut 34 staff positions at its Thursday, March 13th board meeting. But based on EdJoin, it is considering hiring more district administrators. Our counselors have direct contact with our students and provide support services to students, just to mention some: academic advising, course planning, post-secondary advising and advocacy, credit recovery, dual enrollment, participate in crisis response, equity, access, and systematic change activities, teacher and family consultations, monitoring data to identify students who need additional supports and interventions, such as our newcomers, and more. Our counselors are valuable partners and do a lot to support our students' success in many ways. As a matter of fact, in terms of enrollment at Napa High School, we have more prospective 9th grade students enrollment projections for academic school year 2025-2026 compared to the current year. In other words, the need is still there. Furthermore, the district should do a better job in fostering involvement, engagement, and participation of students, parents, community members, stakeholders, and more, connecting with families from a place of understanding, effectively involving students and their families in the decision-making process of the education of our students, because it is failing many families to do that in not providing meaningful education support services who come from different cultural backgrounds, protecting students' educational rights in general, a commitment in ensuring equity-based practices, ensuring inclusion and access to improve student outcomes, and fair, relevant curriculum that meets community, global context, and individual needs, especially for underserved students such as English language learners, special education students, foster youth, low-income students, and other. I provided my feedback in the benchmark survey now due 3/29. One of my suggestions is that several of the questions should have been separated. Thank you. To be continued.
Thank you very much. So this brings us to section H, reports. H1, Board of Education and Student Board Representative. Shall we begin with Student Board Representative Teresa Cifuentes?
Good evening, Board. So this month, we've had a lot of field trips at Vintage. For example, today, I was, as an Avid tutor, I was able to tag along with Avid 9 as they visited Sacramento State University and UC Davis. I enjoyed seeing these programs, all the programs they have to offer, as well as admiring their campus, which is so different from each other. My environmental class also on Tuesday was able to visit the wastewater treatment, where they learned more about land and water pollution. It is important that students see firsthand issues regarding waste, especially within our community. I was not able to join that field trip, but I heard they learned a lot and had a lot of hands-on experience. Secondly, our choir and dance program was also able to visit New York a few weeks ago after weeks of fundraising. Our choir program was also able to perform at Carnegie Hall, which is really impressive. On a more academic level, we have begun to read Hamlet in class. Although it is very difficult to understand the meaning and the language behind it, I've enjoyed working it out with my classmates and hearing them perform. Also, we had our LPAC testing last week, so good luck to my peers who participated in that. Also, prom is right around the corner, so everyone's excited about that. It's April 26th, and our theme is A Night in Rome in the Jam Cellars. So it's going to be nice. Also, admission season is wrapping up. So congratulations to everyone for their hard work throughout high school and their amazing accomplishments. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Trustee Water.
Okay, well, my extracurriculars have been slightly truncated due to my dispensing childcare to the valedictorian of the class of 2042 Napa High School. But I would first like to congratulate my colleague here on her college acceptance. She's going to be heading off to Yale, so yay for you. Yeah. See? We're all proud of you. And let's see, on the 20th, I went to the curriculum meeting. Let's see, on the 17th, let's go backwards, I went to an outward meeting, so where I'm learning to be a better person. And on the 25th, I went to the Donaldson Way groundbreaking for Measure H for their multi-purpose room. A2, sorry. A2. And I know there's so many bonds floating around. I'm really happy about it. And that was exciting, and it was fun to see the students take part in welcoming us. And speaking of Shakespeare, I'm going to be seeing two different Hamlets in May. But this weekend, I'm going to see As You Like It at the college, and there's some great performances by Napa Valley Unified students.
As You Like It, the musical.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm really excited. So that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Trustee Water. Trustee Martin.
On March 17th, I attended the Arbinger Interpersonal Relations Training with Dr. Massetti and the board. On March 24th, I had a one-on-one meeting with Dr. Massetti. On March 25th, I attended the groundbreaking for the Measure A2 funding of the new multi-purpose room and library at Donaldson Way Elementary in American Canyon. And I'd like to congratulate Father Dragon at Donaldson Way Elementary for earning the California Distinguished School Award for their performance as measured by the California School Dashboard. I have personal experience with the California School Dashboard, and I know how hard it is to improve those metrics. What they've done is quite an accomplishment, so congratulations. I would also like to congratulate Alma Gonzalez and her American Canyon High School academic decathlon team on their performance this past weekend. They won second in Super Quiz, and their team earned 13 medals total. Excellent work. And I'm very much looking forward to Hadestown at American Canyon High School tomorrow night. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Martin. Trustee Jankowicz.
Thank you, President Reiser. We had a gathering on the 16th. The conversation centered around the importance of child development and what enrollment would look like in 2030. Trustee Gonzalez-Morris spoke to these issues. Along with my peers, I attended the NVUSD Special Board of Education meeting, Outward Leadership and Governance Training with the Arbinger Institute. I continue conversations with multiple school communities. Congratulations to American Canyon on their academic decathlon journey. I participated on the CSBA call regarding pending legislative bills. I attended the Latino Leadership Luncheon where Dr. Massetti, Dr. Terrence Powell of Napa Valley College, and Barb Nemko were panelists. Dr. Massetti and Dr. Powell were quite a formidable team. They well articulated their mission and visions of their respective institutions and the current challenges in education. It was informative, passionate, and they addressed community questions with expertise and care. I spent last weekend in Sacramento. I attended the Board of Directors meeting for CSBA. A brief overview of topics covered were student achievement, strengthening local governance, secure fair funding, and improving conditions of children. CSBA's Delegate Assembly meeting is coming in May, so trustees, please consider contributing content, your opinions, concerns, or issues of importance in order to strengthen the voice of public education. I met with community member regarding the importance of career readiness and the scaffolding NVUSD provides, including our CTE programming, the construction of the new Agriculture Science Innovation Center, which will focus on introducing industry standard tech and high demand careers, as well as the career support we received from Napa Valley Ed Foundation programming. And it's been quite a pleasure having the opportunity to share the STARS Network program with our community. I attended the March CSBA policy packet update webinar yesterday. Congratulations to Donaldson Way. I'll let Trustee Chu take that. And I will let Dr. Massetti address the State Board of Education judgment, but I will say that the ruling will have impact on a district's ability to exercise local control in the best interest of all of our students. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Trustee Hart?
All right. I, along with everyone else pretty much up at this dais, attended the specialized leadership training with the Arbinger Institute on outward leadership on the 17th. I'm looking forward to Trustee Water becoming a better person. I'm already having a hard time keeping up with her, so hopefully she doesn't get too much better. I did meet with some constituents from Willow, as was mentioned tonight, and listen to their concerns and desire to expand to a TK8 school in our district. On the 21st, thank you to Trustee Water. I was invited to come to the Boys and Girls Club NorCal Youth of the Year luncheon featuring Senator Chris Cabaldon as the primary speaker. Got to hear from the finalists from across the state, which was very inspiring. Much like our student board trustees, they're like super overachievers, very well spoken, and much more comfortable in front of a mic than I am. So that was great to witness. And that concludes my report.
Trustee Gonzalez-Morales?
Yeah, thank you.
Please proceed.
Waiting for your cue, President Reiser. For me, it's a very short report. I think I'll also take this as a public announcement. If you haven't noticed by now, I'm very pregnant. And today will be my last board meeting as I go into maternity leave. I'm really excited for my first kiddo. And although I had planned to attend a lot of the things that have previously mentioned, we do have a work out of this, out of our duties here. And I had to prioritize a lot of things. So I just needed to finish up and button things up in my work, like training 170 county workers in my role last Monday. And so that was important to do, but it does pull away from a lot of things. So that being said, I will be taking the time off to focus on me and my future kiddo, future NVUSD student. So I am class, I don't know, what's the calculation? I guess it is, I guess class of, what year did you say, Trustee Water?
I think I said
I haven't calculated that. So yeah, because your grandkiddo and my kiddo is just going to be around that same time frame. Yeah. Maybe they will. We'll fix them up. 2043. Okay, thank you. So I'll be focused on getting that launched and just looking forward to coming back. I will be back in the fall. In the meantime, I have, as I've done before, even I joined the board, others find it odd, but for us, it's exciting when you're at home and then you're just like listening into the board meeting. So I will be listening as I'm changing diapers or something to keep up with everything, because I know time goes by fast, but at the same time, this is my community, this is my home, and it's going to be hard to stay away from the issues that are happening at our local level, especially with a lot that's happening at the federal level. So keeping my ear out, and I'll be here. So just wanted to thank everyone for their continued, of course, commitment, and I look forward to my return.
Thank you, Trustee Gonzalez-Mares. We will surely miss you while you're gone, but you are up to a very worthy project. So keep us posted on that. Trustee Chu.
And congratulations to Trustee Gonzalez-Mares for, I think you're going to have her first board baby. Probably, right? Of all of NVUSD boards. Has there ever been a board baby? I think
we're not tracking that data.
We're not tracking that data, but thank you for adding to our student population.
Yes.
Your commitment to the district's
Yes.
enrollment is admirable.
Yes. Since the last board meeting, I attended trimester 2 awards at ACMS. It's always wonderful to see the accomplishments of all of our students. Last weekend, I did attend the California Academy Academic Decathlon competition with the ACHS Academic Decathlon team. And thank you to trustees who were part of the training for the students, because it was a lot of work. And thank you for your dedication to those students. And I hope they did you proud by bringing home the 13 individual medals and a second place team medal for Super Quiz. And I will say this is the first time that they scored so well that they moved up a division. And even then, they did really well for being in a more competitive environment. So thank you to Ms. Alma Gonzalez, their teacher, who has mentored them throughout all these years that ACHS has participated. And today, I got to speak with retired Principal Marilyn Avalon of Donaldson Way Elementary School, where I congratulated her on helping her school earn the California Distinguished School Award. She retired right when that class, I guess it was based on all of the CAS scores and all of the metrics. So she really led that school to get that award. So thank you very much, retired Principal Avalon, for making our school look good. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. I attended some of the same things as my fellow trustees. On the 17th, the Outward Leadership Governance Workshop was very rewarding. Ongoing constituent engagement by email and also in person. I met with some people, some constituents from Area 4 who were inquiring about the future of the Harvest Middle School property. We have a lot to celebrate here. I want to echo the congratulations to Miroslava about your wonderful collegiate news. Yale University is lucky to have you. Congratulations again to Trustee Gonzalez-Mares on your wonderful impending arrival. And big congratulations to Donaldson Way for their California Distinguished School Award. It was quite gratifying to have that happen on the same day as our groundbreaking for their new multi-use room and student commons. And I remarked at the time, yesterday I guess it was, that I remember very clearly touring Donaldson Way as a newly elected trustee in the winter of 2021, just a few months in. And I had worked in the same school district previously with Principal Avalon, so we knew of each other. And she toured me around, and I was frankly really had nightmares when I got home about the sort of cheese grater asphalt situation on the playground, and it was bringing to mind all manner of recess, yard duty, road rash incidents. And so it's very clear for quite a long time from when I joined the board that it was long overdue to be able to do capital improvement there at that site. So yay to the community of American Canyon for making that happen for us with A2 2 years ago. And you can sort of see in the timeline from the community perspective that school bond was on the 2022 ballot, and we are just now celebrating the completion of the first projects from that bond. So, And then I'm just going to conclude my report by saying that there's sort of a convergence on today's with my report. For another activity that I did this week on Monday, I participated in, I think, my 4th in-person Moms Demand Action Advocacy Day. I joined several hundred grassroots volunteers from around the state lobbying our lawmakers at the Capitol for common sense gun violence prevention measures. It's very gratifying to see the strength in numbers when we are making ourselves known. As a school board trustee and as a parent of students who went through this system, it is our responsibility to keep our children safe and as safe as possible, as safe as we can make them here while they're under our care. And there is an item on tonight's agenda that we're going to be learning about that is related to keeping our campuses safe. But I just want to make the broader point that it is really, we can only harden our sites to a certain degree. And, as a side point, that's money that is needing to come out of our general fund and our facilities money to protect our students from a variety of emergencies. But really the one that is top of mind for parents is a school shooter. And we know that schools are targets. We know that we have had a school shooting in Napa Valley several decades ago. And so that threat of gun violence at our schools and the ongoing threat of community gun violence is one that weighs on me as an individual. And until and unless our lawmakers will stand strong and really make stronger moves at a state level and at the national level to implement common sense gun violence prevention measures, school districts are going to have to take steps like we're going to be considering later on tonight to just protect our students as best we can from this the epidemic of gun violence in our country. So on that note, this concludes my report. And that brings us to the one that I always skip, which is the board representative reports. So H2A, the Special Education Community Advisory Committee.
We have not met.
Okay. 2B, City of American Canyon Liaison.
We have not met.
2C, City of Napa Liaison.
Have not met.
And the 2D, the town of Yountville is still on here, but I believe we announced at the last meeting that that's going to become an annual.
Correct. Yeah, we can make that
Next
adjustment.
September.
Okay, so in September. So H3, Superintendent and Executive Staff.
Great, thank you, President Reiser. Good evening, NVUSD trustees, staff, and community. I'm going to do some modifications here along the way because I think a lot has been stated and we're obviously in the same places at the same time. So over the past couple of weeks, I've had the pleasure of engaging with 2 important committees in our district that support both Strategy 4 in our strategic plan and Strategy 10. In NVUSD's 24 to 29 strategic plan, Strategy 4 is all about cultivating a culture of belonging throughout the district, and Strategy 10 is focused on family and community engagement. It was nice to hear it cited at the podium today during public comment. On March 19th, in alignment with Strategy 10, I had the pleasure of attending our District English Learner Advisory Committee, where we continue to witness parent engagement and leadership thrive amongst the parents of our multilingual learners. We discussed key topics like campus safety. In fact, the presentation that we're going to see tonight, they got a component of that, and we're very, very supportive of the Centegix system that you'll be hearing about later in the agenda. They also heard about middle school program options and were very, very excited and enthusiastic about the STARS College Network programming, which could really be transformative for their students' educational trajectory. As they shared, and as we know, many of our MLL families immigrated to this country in pursuit of better opportunities for their children. So the parents were eager to hear about how their children could access and qualify for these college attainment programs and services. The parent leaders are so appreciative of the information they attain during these meetings. The DLAC continues to serve as a vital partner in shaping services and supports for our multilingual learners and their families. It's become an example of meaningful parent engagement in our system, and I thank those parents for their time and efforts. On March 24th, in alignment with Strategy 4, I had the pleasure of facilitating our first session with the Inclusive and Welcoming Schools Steering Committee alongside Assistant Superintendent Dana Page. Our Strategy 4 leaders in our organization, which are Susan Miller, who oversees enrollment services, Rupi Bhatti, who oversees student services, and Terry Lynn Rossetti, who oversees special education in the district. The Inclusive and Welcoming Schools Committee will support the district in advancing our shared vision of equity and belonging across all campuses. This cross-sector group included students, staff, parents, and board members, and it will be instrumental in guiding district-wide dialogues and practices related to inclusivity, access, and school climate. Our next meeting is on May 20th. And then, of course, speaking of school climate, I think it was mentioned, so I'll do a truncated version here, but it was great to be at Donaldson Way in American Canyon. Clearly, that site is experiencing positivity, growth, and lots of enthusiasm. Thank you again to the trustees, Trustee Water, Trustee Martin, President Reiser, and Student Trustee Graydon for attending the groundbreaking ceremony earlier this week, as was mentioned. I do just want to state that Principal James Dennis is having an incredibly successful first year as the principal at the site, and he did a really great job leading Tuesday's ceremony, not alone, though, with his amazing 4th and 5th grade student leaders. It was amazing to be there in the morning, and like you all heard, I was the recipient that same afternoon, checking email late in the afternoon. I got a message from California State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurman, informing me that Donaldson Way was, as the trustee stated, selected as one of the 336 schools in the state of California to receive the distinction of California Distinguished School. This is the 3rd school in my 7-year tenure that is receiving this, Pueblo Vista and Vintage High School, and now Donaldson Way. I too just want to illuminate, it is very rigorous to get this distinction. It is based on the 2024 California dashboard results, and schools are recognized for exceptional student performance. They qualified based on achieving exemplary performance in English language arts and math, while also demonstrating strong student engagement and a positive school climate through the indicators on the dashboard that are connected to those variables. Schools recognized also for closing the achievement gap, and they have to enroll at least 40% of their students from socioeconomically disadvantaged backgrounds. So this is just exemplary overall performance at Donaldson Way, and I do want to recognize it is based on the 2024 dashboard is based on results from last year. Retired Principal Marilyn Avalon was there for over a decade, and so this is the culmination of her work. But we know that Principal Dennis, the Donaldson Way staff, students, and community are accomplishing great things, and we know that they'll continue the amazing work and educational experiences that are happening there at Donaldson Way. I also just want to thank Alma Gonzalez. I know the ACHS parents, I know you're one of them, Trustee Chu, who do an extraordinary job of supporting the academic decathlon team at ACHS. And like was mentioned, they are just, the statistics on them are just annually improving as they continue to participate in the academic decathlon competition space. So congratulations to the Wolves. On March 17th, the board members mentioned we had training with the Arbinger Institute on strategic governance. And all that I would like to add is I just really want to thank the 7 trustees for their investment of time. Not all board members are willing to invest so much time in training and professional learning. And they do this in order to strengthen our governance team, culture, and practices. A strong board is very, very important to advance the student achievement and improvement agenda here in the district. It is a strategy in our strategic plan, Strategy 15, to deepen our governance framework. And I'm just really grateful to work for and with a school board, especially in these challenging times, that is so willing to invest time in remaining an effective, functional, and student-centered school board governance team. And then lastly, I think Trustee Jankwitz did mention it. The Napa Valley Unified School District did win a major court victory at the California Court of Appeals for the 3rd Appellate District, which ruled against an attempt to circumvent a well-established legal procedure for starting a charter school. The ruling will have positive, significant repercussions across all of the California's almost 1,000 school districts. The opinion will be published and will be used as case law for the state moving forward. The appellate court found that the State Board of Education abused its discretion in allowing a charter school here locally to proceed, stating that its decision was arbitrary, capricious, and entirely lacking in evidentiary support. So with that, I'm going to transition to the assistant superintendents. We'll start with Assistant Superintendent Dana Page, who oversees the Human Resources Division.
Thank you. Good evening, President Reiser, Board of Trustees, Student Board Member De Reyes Cifuentes, and Dr. Massetti. The Human Resources Department is making steady progress in preparing for staffing and hiring needs for the upcoming school year. At this point, every school site has received its staffing allocations, and teams are hard at work laying the groundwork for the new year. Secondary schools are creating master schedules, while elementary schools are determining grade level assignments for teachers. Any vacancies that have been identified are being addressed in accordance with our collective bargaining agreement. The first step involves offering opportunities to current staff through the voluntary transfer process to see if any openings can be filled internally. Afterward, attention is turned to the list of temporary teachers who are being considered for rehire into permanent positions. Job postings for teaching and previously existing but now vacant administrative positions have already started appearing on EdJoin. The hiring process is in full swing, with interviews taking place, offers being extended, and positions beginning to be successfully filled. I'd also like to note that despite the fact that we did need to reduce positions in teaching and took that resolution to the board at the last meeting, we have been working with teachers and counselors who had previously potentially facing the loss of their job, and we have whittled that list down. We now have only 4 teachers on that list that we need to continue to look for places, and we feel confident that we will be able to do that. I am pleased to once again highlight our participation in the Employee Assistance Program offered by the California Department of Education. This valuable opportunity has been available for the past 6 years, and we have proudly participated since its inception. The program provides eligible classified employees with matching funds for the money they set aside for a summer paycheck, up to 100%, with the exact amount varying each year based on the state budget. In some years, we've received nearly $600,000 in additional funds to support the summer pay of classified employees. Every year, we've seen a steady increase in participation, growing most recently from 254 to over 300 participants. I want to express my gratitude to Amanda Rosas, Cheryl Anderson, and Elizabeth Gonzalez, who work tirelessly each year to administer this program. Thank you, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Page. And before I go to Dr. Reddy, I do need to correct the record. We've had 4 schools in the last 7 years get California Distinguished School. We forgot about the Penguins, New Technology High School. So yes, 4 schools. Thank you for that. Former Penguin, Dr. Aboud, alumni reminded me of that. So please forgive me, Penguins. I was there with you, so thank you. Oh, you did? Okay, thank you so much. All right, so next we'll go to Dr. Reddy, who oversees the Instructional Support Services Division.
Good evening, President Reiser, Board of Trustees, Student Board Member De Reyes Cifuentes, Superintendent Dr. Massetti, and the NVUSD community. Over the past 2 weeks, the Instructional Support Services team has been engaging with educational partners focused on developing college and career readiness and building awareness of improvements to school and district safety. I will begin this evening with the celebration of our newest partnership with the Small Town and Rural Students STARS College Network. We want to celebrate the early enthusiasm and engagement from students and families in the STARS Network summer opportunities that resulted in 50 student applications for summer programs. Many students have begun to hear about their acceptance into summer programs such as Vanderbilt, University of Chicago, and Northwestern. Thank you to Director Mario Landeros, Lead Counselor Kelly Watkins, high school counselors, and avid teachers for their support. NVUSD was honored to participate in the first Golden State Pathways Program experiential visit on March 14th, showcasing our commitment to developing robust career pathways. This opportunity stems from NVUSD being awarded the prestigious Golden State Pathway Program grant from the California Department of Education. The GSPP grant provides critical fiscal resources to support career pathways in high-wage, high-skill, and high-growth industries, including technology, healthcare, education, and climate-related fields. During the experiential visits, schools from across California toured the Vintage High School Career Technical Education Program. Attendees heard from a distinguished panel of educators and workforce partners, including Director Mario Landeros and Principal Abhi Dev, who provided valuable insights into the success and innovation with NVUSD's CTE and early college programs. A student panel from New Technology High School shared their experiences and the impact of these pathways on their academic and career goals. The event reinforced NVUSD's focus on building systems for a career-aligned real-world learning. By strengthening college and career pathways, NVUSD and local districts are preparing students for future success while meeting the demands of the evolving workforce. In addition to advancing career pathways, NVUSD remains committed to ensuring all students receive the support they need to thrive. Families of newly identified advanced learners attended an informational session about NVUSD's Advanced Learner Programs and Services, ALPS. The session provided an overview of the district's approach to supporting advanced learners, emphasizing inclusive learning opportunities that leverage students' strengths and passions. Each school has a designated ALPS liaison who serves as a point of contact for parents alongside the child's classroom teacher and principal. These liaisons meet regularly with District Academic Specialist Mary O'Sullivan to collaborate on strategies for supporting advanced learners across school sites. NVUSD is also excited to once again host 2 ALPS showcases this year, one in Napa on May 13th and another in American Canyon on May 20th, where students will present their projects to families and the broader community. In addition to these academic supports, NVUSD has prioritized parent engagement through the NVUSD Special Education Parent Advisory Committee, which engaged in meaningful discussions around the LCAP mid-year report. Parents learned about important safety updates, including the implementation of single points of entry at school sites, and shared insights that will inform future planning. These recent engagement opportunities highlight NVUSD's commitment to fostering strong partnerships with families, ensuring that all students have the resources and support necessary to succeed in both academic and real-world settings. And I know it's been said numerous times tonight, but I have to conclude my report congratulating the Donaldson Way community on their recognition as a California Distinguished School. Go Dragons. That concludes my report.
Thanks, Dr. Reddy. And next we have Assistant Superintendent Rob Manguala, who oversees business and operational services.
I have 2 presentations tonight, so I will forego my report.
Great, thank you, Mr. Manguala. That concludes staff reports for the evening, President Reiser.
Thank you so much. That brings us to I, approval of consent agenda.
H4.
Oh, I'm sorry, H4, facilities and bond program update.
Hi, everyone. We're back with a quick update. Did you want to start?
Sure.
Okay, go.
Next slide, please. All right, good evening. Thank you so much. So tonight we'll be talking about Strategy 14, improve and maintain our facilities to ensure that students, staff, and the community have access to safe, modern facilities that meet current and future needs and explore more sustainable practices for facilities that can operate under adverse conditions. Next slide, please. There you go.
So we have a few big contracts for lease-leaseback on the agenda for tonight. So we just wanted to do a quick reminder on the process and what you're seeing tonight in your agenda. So we are going to be doing final pricing for Silverado Middle School and Browns Valley Elementary. Just a quick reminder, Silverado Middle School will be getting the full campus modernization treatment. And as you might recall, Browns Valley got a little bit of love last summer, so they'll be getting their HVAC units and new paint, but they got their roofing last summer. Also under Measure B, you'll also see the purchase of the HVAC units for the remaining sites that are going to get campus mod. Pretty exciting to get to do that with the Measure B money, but we want to make sure we get those units purchased as soon as possible because they are the toughest item to get for summer construction. So we will be returning with more info on that. And then in A2, you'll be seeing final pricing for Canyon Oaks Elementary, which is receiving new HVAC, and American Canyon Middle School, which will be receiving new roofing and HVAC. There we go. So quick reminder about lease-leaseback. The reason we go with this methodology, especially in tight summer projects like we're doing here, is that it has a nice balance of competitive bidding and making sure we're picking a really strong partner. So the general contractor for the lease-leaseback is a best value selection process, meaning that we base it on qualifications, not just low bid, but then they also have to provide a competitive bidding process for their subcontractors, so we know that we're getting our best value as well as a highly qualified general contractor. It also allows us to do a lot of upfront planning for contingencies and allowances, so we have that built into our budgets. You'll see that in your items for final pricing, that there's some allowances there. We run into dry rot, issues like that. We're not coming back all the time asking for more money and more change orders. That same early onboarding with our contractor allows us to work collaboratively together. We are right now in the process of working with Core Construction. They're out to bid for their subcontractors and solving problems with the design team and things like that that we're able to do because we have them on board. Fostering a team environment and reducing risk for the district because we get all the players in the room and at the table early. Thank you. So just a reminder for Measure A2, again, on the scopes of work, where you're going to be seeing HVAC, fire alarm, and roofing at the middle school, and then just HVAC at Canyon Oaks, along with contingencies and allowances built in. And that will be with Arntz Builders. And then we are working on the 5-site modernization, which will have the 5 elementary schools. Tonight, you'll see your HVAC procurement, and then you'll see us come again with that larger contract, which will be probably happening at the May board meeting. Those bids are out right now. And in addition to that, we will be doing work at Silverado and Browns Valley. All right. And that'll do it. Yes.
Is Silverado having their interior done at the same time they're having, or are they next year? I had that question from Silverado, so I'm seeking clarification.
No, they will not get any interior work done in the summer.
And may I have a reason why so that I can share that with them?
It's not possible to get it done.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, so it's not physically possible. So just as a reminder of what happened at Silverado. So Silverado came up early because the roof blew off, right, during a storm. And then when the roof blew off and we had to close down the wing, we also decided to do the air conditioning units. Well, the air conditioning units were delayed. And due to the delay, we decided, we hadn't planned on working on the interior, but, in walking through those classrooms in that E-wing, they were in horrific shape. And so we just didn't feel like it would be right to give that back to teachers in the condition it was in. It was already closed. And so we took advantage of that being closed while we were waiting for the HVAC units to get that work done.
So it was never scheduled for this?
Never scheduled
that's
for
the
the
clarification I
interior.
need.
Yeah, the interiors will, again, right now, we do have a very serious problem with leaky roofs, and HVAC units aren't working across the district. And so we're putting all our time, money, and effort into solving that problem first, and then we'll circle back around to the interior. And so, again, next in line after this will be our high schools and Redwood. And so those are the most important things that happen after this. Interior will come after that. So we're starting to plan for it, but we can't even provide a date yet.
No problem. Thank you very much.
One of the things that we've mentioned too when talking about Measure B is how if you think about it in your own home, you would never remodel your kitchen if your roof leaked, because then your roof is leaking onto all your new finishes and things like that. So that's kind of the order in which we do it. And then also we've been working really closely with Julie's team and Q Communications to roll out meetings with the principals, with their staff, and with their PTAs, so everybody can kind of understand what the next steps are of the bond, because we know everyone's really excited to get everything done.
And then just as a reminder, so for planning purposes, planning generally takes 9 to 12 months. So when we start saying, we want to work on interior classmates, that's 9 to 12 months of planning in front of that. So we want to do play structures. It's 9 to 12 months of planning that sits in front of it. And so just the legal process of going through DSA and all of it, it's a very laborious process. The reason that we're able doing the roofing and HVAC the way that we're doing it is we started really early with an assumption that we passed a bond. And they are not DSA projects because it's a replacement in kind, meaning we're putting the exact same thing up there.
Right.
And so we're using the same design, so we don't have to go out to DSA and do that, so we're able to do that. The other stuff will trigger DSA, the larger projects.
Kelly, when you guys schedule those meetings, will you let us know so that we can attend? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now that brings us to I, approval of consent agenda. I1, general services. Background information on these items is available to the board prior to the meeting. A common motion takes action without discussion on roll call vote unless the discussion of items is requested by a board member.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, thank you so much. So I have a motion from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Hart. Ms. Green, is there public comment on the consent agenda?
There is no public comment.
Okay, thank you very much. So may I have a roll call vote, please, Ms. Morales?
Yes, Student Board Member De Risa Cifuentes.
Aye.
Trustee Ricer.
Aye.
Trustee Shu.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez Mares.
Aye.
Trustee Hart.
Aye.
Trustee Jankowicz.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Water.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morales. Just checking on timing of our board break. So now that brings us to J, presentation and discussion items. J1, general services. J1A, strategic plan, project management updates.
All right. Okay. Good evening, President Reiser, trustees, Dr. Musetti, and student board member Teresa Cifuentes. Thank you for the opportunity to update the board and the community on the project management of our strategic plan. As a reminder, NVUSD engaged in a year-long process during the 23-24 school year to establish our Vision 2040 and a 5-year strategic plan to help propel our organization forward towards that vision. This robust process was facilitated by Prospect Studios and involved collecting thousands of inputs from a variety of community members to inform the process. What resulted was a very detailed vision and strategic plan, which truly encompasses what our community desires from NVUSD. The strategic plan is broken up into 15 different strategies, divided into 4 themes, each managed by a strategy lead or a team of strategy leads with the support of an executive sponsor. Strategy leads are directors or other people who hold key positions in the organization, and the executive sponsors sit on the senior team. One of the strategies, Strategy 9, is focused on the project management of the entire strategic plan. I am the lead for the strategy with the support of Dr. Musetti as the executive sponsor. So why have a project management strategy? We did not want to have our strategic plan ignored and sitting on a shelf after investing so much time and energy into the development of the vision and the plan. At the strong recommendation of Prospect Studios, a project management strategy was added to ensure that the plan was actively executed upon and monitored for success. And so with the support of you all as the board and Dr. Musetti, my position this year was modified to include this project management component. The outcome for Strategy 9 is to have a system-wide project management culture and practice, ensuring consistent, sustainable, and synchronized implementation and organizational coherence of all the strategic plan efforts. It is broken down into 3 goals, and I will review our progress to date in each of these 3 areas. The first is operationalizing a consistent project management framework that includes common tools, processes, and protocols for all strategic plan strategies. NVUSD's project management framework leverages a number of ongoing meeting structures throughout the year, which are designed to support strategy leads in their ongoing work and ensures that members of the executive team and the full cabinet have an ongoing awareness of the work that is happening across the organization. On the next couple of slides, I will review each of these meeting structures and their purpose. Before the beginning of the school year, we had a full-day strategic plan work session. The goal of this session was to support strategy leads in better understanding the strategic plan as a whole and to dive more deeply into their own strategy and understand its intricacies and overlap with other strategies. It was at this meeting that strategy leads took their very detailed strategic plan and mapped it out over the course of the next 5 years. It was at this meeting that leads also began the process of writing up their 1-year implementation plans with specific actions to be taken. And at the end of this year, we'll have yet another extended work session for strategy leads to reflect on their work and modify their implementation plans for the 25-26 school year. For the sake of efficiency, it was important that our project management framework leverage many of the meeting structures already in place at NVUSD, and so our monthly full cabinet meetings expanded to include all strategy leads. And the goal of these meetings was to help everyone in the room gain a deeper understanding of the implementation plans for all 15 strategies. And at each meeting so far, we've been highlighting 3 to 4 strategies through a structured protocol, which included a modified Arbinger activity to guide everyone in the room to think more carefully about how they can support the work of their colleagues. Additionally, we've completed 2 rounds of milestone meetings and have a 3rd round scheduled for early April. At these meetings, the Strategic Plan Steering Committee, which includes the superintendent, assistant superintendents, the chief communications officer, and myself as the project manager, meet for 30 minutes with the leads for each strategy one at a time. These meetings are an opportunity to celebrate the strategy leads for their work to date and reground the steering committee and the work happening across the organization. These meetings take about a day and a half, but are critical for ensuring the steering committee remains grounded in this important work. And so I'd like to thank the steering committee for their investment of time in these meetings. Also, our executive team continues to meet on a weekly basis, but we've modified the agenda to include 15 to 20 minutes for Julie Bordes, our chief communications officer, and myself to push into these meetings and to gather any feedback from everyone on the team as we look forward to upcoming full cabinet and strategy lead meetings or milestone meetings. Executive sponsors also meet monthly with their strategy leads to check on progress, provide support, and collect information on any issues or challenges which might need to be escalated in an executive cabinet, to an executive cabinet meeting. Executive sponsors are provided with a meeting agenda template to help guide them in facilitating these conversations with their strategy leads. Additionally, twice per month, the superintendent, the chief communications officer, and myself meet to check in on the management of the strategic plan. It is in these meetings that we draft agendas for upcoming cabinet and strategy lead meetings and milestone meetings, which are later reviewed and vetted by the executive cabinet. And finally, it was important to us that strategy leads felt supported early on in the execution of the strategic plan. And so I, as a project manager, hosted optional office hours for strategy leads to support them in making sense of their strategy and building out their implementation plans. Approximately half of the strategy leads took advantage of this additional support, which led to very thoughtful implementation plans for this school year. The office hours structure has since been scaled back, but can and will be added back as needs arise. The second goal in the strategy focuses on monitoring progress towards our strategic plan indicators. This is a screenshot from our strategic plan, which summarizes the data points which we aim to impact. Our theory of action is that if we implement the strategies in the plan and hold ourselves accountable to these data points, that we will see improvement. What you'll notice is that some of these indicators are very quantitative in nature and some are more qualitative, so we need to address the monitoring of each of these differently. Quantitative indicators, which can be tracked in real time through Aries and Tableau, have been built into progress monitoring dashboards, which I will show you an example of momentarily. Our qualitative indicators are being measured through an annual benchmark survey, which was recently sent out to students, parents, staff, and community members. I'd like to thank Julie Bordes, our Chief Communications Officer, and Chris Reddy, our Director of Communications, for their work engaging with Qualtrics, a partner, which has helped us in building out this annual survey and ensuring that the questions asked and the methodology for how the data is collected allows us to accurately measure the indicators outlined in the strategic plan. Here's an example of a quantitative Tableau dashboard built by the data services team. I would like to publicly thank 2 members of the data services team, Sage Bauer and Edgar Gutierrez, who really are the Tableau masterminds behind many of our data tools. So they do a phenomenal job of taking our visions for dashboards and designing them in a way that's accurate, usable, and meets the needs of the organization. So thank you, Sage and Edgar. I don't think they're watching right now, but I will send them the recording later. So thanks to them. This particular example is designed to monitor the strategic plan indicator aimed at reducing chronic absenteeism. On the left side, you'll see the 23-24 chronic absenteeism rate, and on the right, you can see the chronic absenteeism rate by site for this school year to date. So the beautiful thing about the Tableau dashboards tied to Aries, which is our student information system, is that these numbers will update in real time. And at any point, a strategy lead or a principal can log into Tableau and see what their chronic absenteeism rate is on that day. And additionally, users can filter by student groups or even see the list of particular students and their attendance rates to help them identify exactly which students would benefit from some different supports. And this is just one example, and I do look forward to sharing more about these dashboards with you at a later time. So our next steps around the data dashboards include building out the qualitative dashboards with the support of Qualtrics and our communications office. And moving into year 2 of our strategic plan, we'll be spending more time truly operationalizing these project monitoring dashboards with the strategy leads and the district staff who impact the results. So we know that it's not enough to design monitoring dashboards and see the progress at the district level. We need to get the dashboards and the data in the hands of the district staff who are best positioned to move the needle on these indicators. So using chronic absenteeism again as an example, we would need site administrators, attendance clerks, social workers, and others to be actively using that data in order for us to see the results. Additionally, we'll be working on a forward-facing dashboard which summarizes the results of the strategic plan at a high level so that we can publicly report out on the results. So that's also in the works. And the last goal in the strategic plan is around normalizing the use of data for continuous improvement and building a culture where all staff seek data to inform their work. We started this work early on in the school year and began by modeling the use of data in as many meeting structures as possible. These included the leadership summit with our management team back in August, regularly scheduled management meetings, principal meetings, full cabinet meetings, etc. And so we're already seeing principals and other staff really begin to embrace this culture of data and keeping data at the forefront with their staff. Additionally, we took a big step early in February to facilitate what we call data dialogue conversations with principals and small groups. This was done in strong partnership between instructional services and the data services team under the work of both Strategy 9 around project management as well as Strategy 3, which building a comprehensive assessment framework and culture of student data use. Data services looked at each site's CASP results from the previous year, set a goal for principals for 2025 based on those prior year's results, and built Tableau dashboards to help principals identify the number of students they need to move to the standard met or exceeded category or performance levels this year in order to meet their goals. And then principals met in small groups with Dr. Musetti, Dr. Reddy, Executive Director Matt Manning, and myself to discuss their data and their plans between then and the time that their students take the CASP again later this spring. And principals will come together again next week to share updates on their work. The increased focus on data this year has resulted in increases in data requests and inquiries about the interpretation of data. So we know that we're seeing a shift in that data mindset. Data services has been extremely busy this school year responding to needs across the organization, which has been really great to see. And before we wrap up, I'd like to summarize the next steps for the strategy as we close out this school year. We will be holding a board study session at the end of April to dive more deeply into the strategic plan indicators of success. So Julie Bordas and I will be working together to prepare for that study session. Additionally, on June 9th, we will have another 6-hour work session scheduled for our full cabinet team and strategy leads. At this work session, we'll dive deeply into these progress monitoring dashboards that we're finalizing, and strategy leads will revise their work plans in preparation for 25-26 in response to the data. And finally, our annual State of the District event is scheduled for March 13th, where we will celebrate with the community the work done in each of the 15 strategies to date.
May 3rd.
I'm so sorry. Did I say June? I'm sorry, May 13th. May 13th. Okay, thank you. And with that, I will say thank you and open it up to any questions or comments from the board.
Trustees, anything?
I just want to say thank you for turning on my mic. And I just wanted to say thank you for the data culture slide. The understanding of the data negates a lot of risks and interpretations, gives direction for data-driven decisions, improves efficiencies, allows for corrections, and it enables improvements in student outcomes, which is exactly what the strategic plan is for. So I really appreciated that slide. Thank you.
Yes, and I like the one about chronic absenteeism. That's something I'm always interested in. And I'm noting that, although I won't be happy until it's 0, but I'm noticing that, the high schools really made some real improvements. And I know that there's been some stresses on our student population, reasons why they don't want to come to school. But you've done a good job in reducing it. I mean, some of this is astonishing. So thank you.
Other comments from trustees? Thank you, Dr. Aboud. It's so fascinating, the complexity and multi-layers of this project is fascinating to me, and I really appreciate the systemization. Is that a word? Systemization?
I don't know.
It seemed like it was missing a syllable when I said it the first time, but your systematic approach, and you're keeping a lot of coexisting spinning plates in the air and tracking them for us. And this was a very digestible and understandable summary, and it's so complex. And I just love the way the meeting structures and the ongoing check-ins sort of account for human nature's tendency to veer off track and have a new idea to pursue. And I'm very heartened that all of the work and input from our community that resulted in the strategic plan, that we're honoring that on an ongoing basis. Yes.
So I want to thank you, Dr. Abood. It's been pretty extraordinary having the opportunity to work directly with him on this project, and just, he's really become an integral part of advancing the work of the senior team. And so I want to thank him for all of his contributions. He does have more meetings with me on his calendar now, but we're having fun. And you like my meetings better than the ones with Assistant Superintendent Mangwala, right?
No comment.
I'm not allowed to have any meetings without your permission, I've heard.
Right. All the meetings are with me now. But yeah, setting all the joking aside, one of our visions as we've developed this project, this framework for managing the plan, is, Dr. Abood and I talked about ensuring that if he and I were not to be here tomorrow, could the strategic plan still be managed? And so how do we build it? How do we build a management system of the strategic initiatives and efforts so that it's a system and there's a set of processes and expectations and protocols and a timeline and a rhythm to them that anyone could sort of walk into it to protect the plan, right? Because the plan is a contract that we have with the community over the next 5 years. We really want to make sure that the organization delivers on it. So we have to put systems in place that transcend people and personalities and really are guided by the principle of implementing this with full integrity and fidelity. And the last thing is just a reminder, I want to thank the board. You have been invited to a special session. It was nice to hear that you were available on April 24th. And this session will be a deep dive in all of those indicators. So you're going to learn what our baseline is in year one across all of those qualitative and quantitative indicators. We ground ourselves in that baseline, and then we'll start the tracking of growth from there, and if there isn't growth, then we have to figure out where we course correct to ensure that we're moving in the right direction across all of those indicators. So thanks for dedicating another night in April to work for the school district.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abood. And I think at this point, we're going to take our 5-ish minute break for the board. Thank you. Okay, thank you. We've returned from our short break and are moving on to item J2, Business Services, J2A, School Safety Technology Project Update. Mr. Mangwala.
Thank you for the opportunity to update the board and the community regarding the work we've been doing related to safety and present on an action item on tonight's agenda to purchase Centegix. Centegix will provide wearable safety technology for all staff and provide us with visitor management software. Next slide, please. So this slide is tied to Board Annual Priority 4, providing learning and workplace environments that ensure physical and psychological safety. Our success indicator is to work collaboratively to develop protocols and establish procedures for emergency situations and put them together in NVUSD's emergency plan. Next slide. Excuse me. I'm confident that the work group, I think, next slide again. I don't think you went, Jordan. I'm confident that the work we've already completed and the partnership with Centegix will help us develop a thoughtful approach to improve school district safety. Measure H has played a very large role in the build out of our safety infrastructure. We're spending remaining dollars on Measure H to address technology and infrastructure to upgrade safety. Next slide. And that's you, Jordan.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So as part of these goals, through our technology and infrastructure improvements, we wanted to focus on the site safety, student and staff safety. So we identified a few goals to get moving in that direction. One of them is standardizing on our next-gen public address systems, which if any of you have been out at some of our school sites, you'll see that is in full swing. We're about halfway through our district-wide implementation. Napa High is one that's completely finished. If anyone ever wants to go over and look, there's brand new clock speakers up on the walls. Everyone in this building can hear the very loud bells that are coming from the school over there. That's a part of that system. And we're also, one of the safety focuses that we were really wanted to improve was our security camera system. So we're currently about halfway through modernizing the software that runs all the cameras, and that will allow us to just better monitor the sites, be able to pull footage. We were running on an older software, and it was time to upgrade. So that leads us to these Measure H led improvements, which also on the side, you'll see the digital radio system, which was a Measure H investment. These were the sort of the first phase is what I like to say. Now that we're sort of through that first phase, there's this next level, and we discussed internally. There was some discussion with Rob and I, with some of the other members of full cabinet on where do we go next on safety. The strategic plan is, and let me just go back to that. Strategy 7, part of the strategic plan is to develop a comprehensive approach to improve school and district safety. And goal 7.2 specifically calls out NVUSD improves its ability to effectively respond to physical safety crisis and at district offices and schools. So being the tech guy for the district, I wanted to look into any sort of technology type tools that could help us achieve that goal. And it quickly became apparent that there are some tools out there. So there is something called a wearable safety solution, which is what we're going to be discussing in just a few minutes. Something aligned with a staff panic button. And then we also wanted to really hone in on our visitor sort of management systems. It's kind of all over the place out at the schools. Some schools have an iPad running software. Some schools have a piece of paper where a visitor sign in. We wanted to standardize that, make it sort of manageable from a district level and in terms of technology, but have it really easy to be managed at the site level by the site staff. So that kind of brought us to a product called Centegix, which offers both a wearable safety solution and a visitor management system. And we actually have two members of the Centegix team here I'm about to hand it off to them so they can give everyone a short deep dive into what the product looks like and how it will affect and improve our site safety. So with no further ado, I'm going to bring up Ken Nunes and Sal Rahman, is that okay? And they're with Centegix, and they are going to bring you through the next few slides, and will be available afterwards for any questions. So here you go, Ken.
Thank you so much, Jordan.
You're welcome.
Thank you to the superintendent and the cabinet and the board. Thank you for having us and for the opportunity to help support your staff to feel safe and be able to get help when they need it. So I'm Ken Nunes. I manage our West Coast customers here. I'm based out of Sacramento. I'm joined with Saul Rahman, who actually manages the entire nation and has worked with a lot of our districts all across the country to ensure they're safe. So let me make sure I can be heard here. Just to give you a little overview of Centegix, we are the leader in wearable safety and what we call a comprehensive safety solution for schools. We're in 4 of the 10 largest districts in the country, and we're in actually over 14,000 school sites across the country. This technology is proven to be rapid and easy to use, and we'll give you a little overview today, and you'll be hopefully joining a lot of the customers in California that are starting to protect their staff and students with Centegix. So our solution is really centered around the wearable badge that Jordan shared with you earlier. I think a couple samples are maybe around. If you guys have one in your hand there. Everybody gets a badge, including all staff. So teachers, aides, classified, district employees. You'll also, I believe, be deploying a personal ID badge, and they could just be together, like I have right here. Maybe they're in a pouch, maybe they're on a ring, they could be even on a sleeve, they could be on a clip. This allows you to quickly get to this button, and that's part of the magic of the system. Is everybody has it, and it works everywhere on campus. It works in the bathroom, it works in the ball field, it works in the classroom, and all they have to do is click it 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and they'll feel a little buzz on the badge. That means the sensors have picked up where you are, and now help can be summoned in on the way, and we'll show you a little bit about how that works. Every staff member gets one. They don't need to charge it. It's always ready. It's discreet. You can just get to it when you need it. And it works everywhere on campus. Doesn't use Wi-Fi, doesn't use cell signal. We use our own network that's actually very reliable. It works everywhere, inside and outside, goes through walls. If you have some buildings that have upstairs and downstairs, it knows if you're upstairs or downstairs. And it finds you without having to use a cell signal or Wi-Fi. No privacy issues because there's no personal information on this badge. There's really no data breach risk with it. It could be lost, it could be stolen, and nobody's going to be able to do anything with it or get any information off of it. And it's a pretty simple process. If you lose it, you just tell the front desk, hey, I lost it, and they can get you a new badge. We actually give you 10% more badges than you need, so each site will have extra badges for people who may need them. The badge is used for multiple types of emergencies. So this badge can be used for low-level emergencies, what we call a staff alert, and just click it 3 times. You could say, I need help to yourself, 1, 2, 3. But it also can be used for worst-case scenarios to get you rapid response and rapid notification to the entire campus, as well as important first responders and district responders. And that's a 8-button click, and we'll go through how each one of those look as well. So 3-button clicks will work with your team to identify at the district level what incidents that you'd like your site administrators and the staff to be able to ask for help for. And that would be that 3-button click. So everything from kids having a fight to a medical issue, might be a kid having a seizure in the hallway, or you could be maybe out in the parking lot and you have a parent who's menacingly coming after you. You could use it there. Could be at an elementary school where you have a child who's eloping and you need support with that. So we'll work with you to define these policies and make sure that everybody has the ability to get help. Give you a little example of what it looks like when somebody pushes the 3-button click. So just imagine if you're in a hallway and you see some kids starting to get rowdy and you need some backup, you click it 3 times and you're gonna get this alert sent to your support staff that supports your building. They're gonna get an alert on the phone as well as on their computer. So this is typically the staff at the front office. It could be the principal, it could be an AP, if there's any other support staff such as counselors that are on campus. Whoever's part of the safety team for that campus can receive this message, and it comes across as an Amber Alert on the phone. So you're going to need to look at it. Now you can clear it, you can start to go help, and it's also going to be able to give you exactly where they are. We digitize all of your maps, so we're actually going to know where everything is on the campus. So if that dot is in the auditorium, you're going to see it there. If that person runs to the cafeteria, you're going to see that dot move to the cafeteria. And you'll see here when we go into a lockdown incident, that can be really important to first responders if there are multiple people in duress. The other thing that we do with your maps, which is going to be really helpful for emergencies that happen every day, as well as major emergencies, is we're going to map all of your critical safety information, such as the location of AED devices, blood kits, Narcan kits, exits, and you can even label and put other information about safety that is needed on this. So that pops up automatically when an incident happens and can be very useful for those people who maybe don't know where those are. The other part of this is it's very powerful is you can use this to be able to track the readiness of your safety equipment, such as the expiration dates of Narcan kits, the inspection dates of AED devices. So you can actually use this to help you make sure that those are ready for emergencies as well. So campus-wide alerts. Now this is an incident where everybody needs help, and that's where the badge can be used to indicate that, hey, I see somebody with a gun, I see somebody that's potentially threatened this and we need to lock this down. That's 8 or more. We say keep clicking until alarms are tripping. You just keep clicking this button and it's going to go through the sequence that's set by the protocols for your district on doing a lockdown. And when that happens, there's going to be more than just showing where the incident is on the map. We're going to actually initiate your investment in a single wire and be able to announce and notify what's going on to the entire campus. So you're going to see all of your PA systems announcing an announcement. And then you're also going to have the strobes flashing in every single room. We provide a strobe for each and every classroom. Looks like this. It's going to be up in the ceiling or maybe up on the wall. And this will flash the appropriate color for the type of incident it is. So it could be red for a lockdown. Simultaneous to that, the PA systems that you've invested in will be doing a pre-recorded message with specific instructions for what to do in that lockdown. Simultaneous to that, you'll also be getting screen instructions on your staff computers as well as Promethean boards, smart boards throughout the campus. That's going to allow everybody to get into their proper lockdown protocols as fast as possible, and that's been proven to save lives. And that's part of our best practices that you guys will be able to work with. That also may be a secure in place. And this maybe flashes orange or blue, whatever your color is for secure. Or if it's an evacuation, it may be a different color. This can do multiple colors, and the messaging can be customized for each type of incident. And the last piece of this, which is really critical for major incidents like a lockdown, are these maps and notifications can be shared directly with local law enforcement that support that specific school. They have not only a notification immediately, within seconds, that there is a lockdown, but also the location of exactly where it's occurring, including maps, roads. We've superimposed this over digital and map photography so that first responders know where to go and who's in duress. What's nice about our solution is it's very customizable to your particular protocols. This one happens to be the I Love You Guy protocol system that we're showing here, but each and every site administrator and safety team can control what lockdowns they are in, and the district will be probably seeing this as well.
Lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. Lock the doors, stay away from the windows.
So that's a little example of how a lockdown can appear. This will be customized to exactly your nomenclature, what instructions you want for each and every site. Would you like me to show the video of what it looks like in real action? Okay. So this will give you a little glimpse, a little 2-minute video of what it looks like actually in a school, and you'll see, I think, a lockdown happen during a drill.
Saving time saves lives. That is the idea behind new technology that staff members are wearing in Meade County schools.
WDRB's Katrina Nichols shows us how the push of a button can trigger a police response in the event of an active shooter or any emergency in just seconds.
Teachers and staff walking the hallways of Meade County schools will now all be wearing these badges. This way, when a situation occurs and help is needed, a teacher can click this button 3 times and help will be on the way within seconds.
That's like placing a silent 911 call.
When a situation with a student arose last week at Meade County schools,
I heard a teacher yell out, "Would someone push their buttons?"
Teacher Michelle Miller and other staff use their Centegix Crisis Alert badges to call for help.
We had 3 admin here within seconds. Like, I've been here 18 years, and that just does not happen. I mean, that's the quickest
response I've ever seen.
That is an example of the staff alert used for something like medical emergencies or a fight. With just 3 clicks, this nondescript badge can tell administrators, school resource officers, nurses who press the button and exactly where they are, down to the room number. Meade County Schools is the first in Kentucky to use this kind of technology.
We just empowered over 600 teammates to respond to everyday situations and worst-case scenarios.
If a campus-wide lockdown is necessary in the event of an active shooter, staff will click 8 times.
Attention, please.
Initiating this PA announcement.
We are in a lockdown situation.
And in seconds, administrators are notified by phone, police are dispatched.
Clear the halls.
Teachers' monitors will pop up this lockdown warning.
Get behind your locked door. Await further instruction.
And red flashing lights installed all over buildings will go off.
This is not a drill. Remain in this safe position until an all clear is given.
Before installing the technology, taking those steps would have taken seconds, possibly minutes. Now Meade County Schools can notify an entire campus with just 8 clicks.
Seconds matter in life-threatening situation. This would cut minutes off of the ability for our campus to go into lockdown.
Thanks for setting that up, Jordan. So in conclusion, this is really the most efficient way to get help. It's really transformed the ability for everybody to be empowered to ask for help. They can just wear it every day from the moment they step on campus to the moment they step off. Everybody feels it's safer because they tactically can feel safer. And the students and parents see this as well. You'll see a transformation of the students going to staff saying, hey, push your button, this is happening. And they're gonna actually see the strobes, they're gonna see the messaging and see that the school is focused on this. And that readiness and performance data is built into the system as well. And you'll be able to see that data actually real time as the incidents are happening, as well as over time. So you'll be able to see how many elopements you're having, how many fights you're having, how many de-escalation fights you're having. All that data is available to you and also the site managers. So should we just go into the visitor management, or do you want us to pause for questions on this?
Oh, let's just, yeah.
Visitor management? Okay. Just to talk a little bit about visitors. So we have integrated visitor management. So you're going to have visitor kiosk in the front of every school, as well as at the district office. And they'll be able to check in visitors and volunteers. It does a quick background check for sex offender as well as no-go lists. And then for your volunteers, you can do a full background check and authorize them for a period of time. So they're going to be able to come up to a kiosk, scan their driver's license, or if they're already a volunteer, they may already have a login, be able to get a quick badge to go into the system, into the school, and it's going to be able to give them the ability to get either a sticker. I don't have my sticker with me. They're also going to get a visitor badge. So this visitor badge is a little bit different. You can tell it's a different color. This badge is actually going to track where visitors are. So they can walk around campus and the little dots will show where they are and where they've been. And then they'll return this when they come back up to the front. So this will be able to give you the indication of who's on campus, and if you do have an emergency, where they are, so you can help get them to where they need to be safe. So this allows you to not only track visitors, but actually physically track visitors. And it uses the same very maps and the same sensors that we use for safety. So it allows us to use that in 2 different ways. So we'll customize this for your workflows, for volunteers, for visitors, for vendors. And it also, if you're interested in the future, it can be used for tardies and student early leaves. And we also have a reunification process for automating reunification within the system. So it has all your standard features that you would expect. And it also can take photos, print those photos on a badge, which is what your team was indicating they'd like to have on there as well. So with that, we thank you for having us, and we're here to answer any questions about the technology or our deployment.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Trustees, are there questions? Trustee Chu?
So you mentioned that you can integrate this to our local law enforcement. How would you do that, and what do we need for the law enforcement to have to enable that?
Yeah, so we integrate in multiple ways. So each and every jurisdiction can be different. The minimal ways we can integrate to 911 through their call center, but they also can receive direct access to the notification software with no extra charge that shows the live maps. And then there's also multiple APIs in between. There's a couple different systems. California, one's called Rapid Deploy, there's Safer Watch, there's Rapid SOS, where we integrate to all the major digital platforms to provide the same information in the digital format that the local law enforcement. As part of implementation, our project manager will work with your district office and each individual site to talk to those jurisdictions to inform them of the different options, and often we'll engage with them during the implementation process to say which one would work best for you. And we find that most of the local law enforcement, whether they're sheriff or local PDs or even school-based systems, are very excited to get better information, and they usually like to opt for the most information possible.
So we are a school district that actually spans 2 cities, and we have separate police departments and sheriff's department in between.
Yeah.
So you're able to like accommodate different things, and you can actually say, okay, these schools belong in this city and these schools belong in the other.
Yeah, each school will have its own logic for what jurisdictions are going to be notified during an emergency. And sometimes it's multiple jurisdictions. I have some of my schools in more dense areas in California have 5 jurisdictions that are involved.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
I have a question about your coverage, and you mentioned you have used some sort of a proprietary technology. Can you expand on that a little bit? I'm thinking of some of our campuses like Silverado, for example. Some of the fields are really far out from where the buildings are, where I imagine whatever hub you're using is kind of going to be based inside of a building. Curious how that works and what the range is.
It's a pretty cool technology. It's called LoRaWAN, and it actually goes long distances and goes through materials very easily at a very low data rate. So it's not something you would like to stream video with, but it's really good at finding people where they are. And it allows us to cover the entire campus. We typically need 2, but sometimes we'll use a 3rd LoRaWAN gateway, and they have an antenna on them, and that's what covers your campus. And they go about 3 miles. So we'll usually put those in a specific pattern that allows us to cover. And we will commit to covering every inch of the property from the curb to curb. So fields, ball fields, parking lots, along with the buildings.
Any other comments or questions?
I did have a question. We have pretty diverse community, but Spanish is another major language, and we have staff, parents, even students. How does that work in terms of the alert system to provide in a scary moment? It's going to be hard to decipher what's on the speaker.
Absolutely. So within the notification media, we do audio and video notifications, and we also leverage your current system called Single Wire. So Single Wire may be producing some of the messages. We may be producing some of the messages. We can put those in English and Spanish. Written on the screens, or if in your PA announcements, you may have those in English and Spanish as well, or your intercom announcements. So those can be configured based off of what your needs are.
Great.
We actually currently have that set up within the system already, the PA system that we're installing for the emergency notifications. It plays in English and then Spanish and then back to English, then back to Spanish and back to English, back to Spanish. So that's already in place. So when an alert is triggered, well, that's already built in. So
Awesome. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I didn't mention
in terms of like our values and what we've established here, but in your presentation, I didn't see that highlighted, that option. Just wanted to make sure it was there. Thank you.
Good question. And I didn't mention earlier, we are a strategic partner with Single Wire, and our integration partner, AMS, is a Single Wire partner. So they will mesh the Single Wire system you've already invested in with our platform. And so we'll be able to leverage what you're already have invested.
Sorry, I have one more question. So I'm looking at your visitor accountability piece, and our school district does background checks for all parents and volunteers for our school system. How does that integrate with what we have, or does this actually replace what we have? I just don't know like where that falls.
Sure. There's two levels of background checks. The instant check is the sex offender check, which goes against the latest lists that are in that, as well as any of your own no-go list. That we're executing immediately when somebody comes up to the front desk and maybe hands over their license or gets their license scanned. Now, if you're doing volunteers, you're doing a full background check, and that usually you have a service or maybe through your county. We're just tracking what you're already doing in our system to acknowledge that you have completed it. So we have a wizard process for whoever's in charge of that to have a workflow. Hey, we have a volunteer, they put in an application. We manage that. We say, send that to the right person to do the background check. They say it was completed. You can even upload the background check into our system. And then also put the parameters of that background check and when it expires. And we'll track that so that when they come up to our system, they are either authorized as already been background checked, or it'll say expired, or you need to get it done. So
you can have like a pre-populated list of people who are authorized, and then anyone who's not on that list then goes through this quick check.
Yeah. And it's very configurable on what your policies are. So, yeah, obviously, if you're already authorized, you're maybe not going through the quick check. You already got, but it depends what your policy is. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just want to hop in one more time. A lot of those policies are currently being, I guess, fine-tuned or sort of looked at again by the student services and the emergency services team with Director Rupi Bhatti and coordinator Joanna Navarro. So they are going to take the lead on this as soon as my team and the technical implementation is done. Then there's a second phase, which is the actual policy implementation, and that's going to align with all of that and important Strategy 7 work that's happening with the alignment and the, I guess, I can't think of the word now, just aligning across the district so it's the same policy across all schools. So there's the technical implementation and the testing that will all be happening with me and my team. At the same time, the student services and emergency services team is going to be implementing all of our emergency preparedness policies in with the system. And I actually spoke with another district that is using Centegix, and they said they used the rollout of Centegix in conjunction with their re-standardization of their emergency procedures, and they said it was the perfect, hand-in-hand implementation. So that made me feel pretty excited since we're launching that as a part of the strategic plan as well. So.
Great, thank you so much. This was so informative. Oh, we have another comment. Sorry, Trustee Water.
Yeah, I sat through the presentation. For example, would wear. And does the badge that the visitor on campus or the vendor or whatever look different?
It sure does. It looks just like this.
Okay.
It's yellow and it doesn't have a button on it.
Okay.
So this just tracks them.
That's right.
But they can't ask for help because they've not been privy to your policies. And so this is not ask for help. It just shows where they are.
This tracks them, so we will know where, because a lot of these people are strangers on the campus. I mean, they could be doing work for us, but, with this, we would know where they are.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this one knows where they are. That one's purposely built does not show where you are unless you press the button.
Right.
And then you're asking to be seen.
Okay, well, our employees would like to know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a whole policy on privacy and data privacy that we shared with your union and we'll share with you, your team. One of the things that we do when we deploy is we'll work through this with you. Is when we actually go to deploy the system, we get it all running, and then we go on site with a trainer for each and every school. And that trainer will work with that site leader and the administrative staff on exactly how the system works with your policies in it. And part of that will be also training them on how to communicate with their teachers that this is a tool that is private and is not going to violate their privacy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you
Really
very
appreciate
much.
your time.
Thank you.
Okay, this brings us to section K of the agenda, action items. K1, business services. K1A, purchase agreement with Apple Inc.
Move to approve.
Second.
A first from trustee Chu, a second from trustee Hart. Ms. Green, is there public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Student board member DeRosa Cifuentes?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Motion, opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. K1B, I turn my mic off. K1B, purchase and implementation of Centegic School Safety Platform with AMS.net.
Move to approve.
Second.
The first from trustee Chu, second from trustee Hart. Ms. Green, do we have public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student board member DeRosa Cifuentes?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. K2, facility improvement. K2A, FID 18.6-25, sublease amendment with Core West.
Move to approve.
Second.
First by trustee Chu, second by trustee Hart. Ms. Green, do we have public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student board member DeRosa Cifuentes?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. K2B, FID 18.160-20, amendment to sublease with Right Contracting.
Move to approve.
Second.
First by trustee Chu, second from trustee Hart. Ms. Green, is there public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student board member DeRosa Cifuentes?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K2C, FID 19.3-25, sublease amendment with Arntz Builders.
Move to approve.
Second.
A first by trustee Chu, second by trustee Hart. Ms. Green, do we have public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student board member DeRosa Cifuentes?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K3, instructional services. K3A, 2024-25 school plan for student achievement addendums.
Move to approve.
Second.
First by trustee Chu, second by trustee Hart. Ms. Green, do we have public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student board member DeRosa Cifuentes?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K3B, agreement with Nature Bridge.
Move to approve.
Second.
First by trustee Chu, second by trustee Hart. Ms. Green, is there public comment for this item?
There is no public comment for this item.
Thank you. Student board member DeRosa Cifuentes?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K3D, agreement with Challenger Sport.
Move to approve.
Second.
First by trustee Chu, second by trustee Hart. Ms. Green, do we have public comment for this item?
There is no public comment for this item.
Oh, I did skip one. I'm sorry, I need to correct the record. K3C, agreement with Blitz TDM LLC. My apologies.
Move to approve.
Second.
First from trustee Chu, second from trustee Hart. Ms. Green, do we have public comment on that item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Student board member DeRosa Cifuentes?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. Now we are at K3D, agreement with Challenger Sport.
Move to approve.
Second.
First by trustee Chu, second by trustee Hart. Ms. Green, do we have public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student board member DeRosa Cifuentes?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K4, operational services. K4A, request to purchase electric school buses from Model 1.
Move to approve.
Second.
First from trustee Chu, second from trustee Hart. Ms. Green, do we have public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. I'm just going to make a comment that I'm very gratified that we are moving forward with our green buses, and also want to make note that this is almost entirely grant funded. Student board member DeRosa Cifuentes?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K4B. Oh, there is no K4B. L, a motion, informational. items. L1, General Services. L1A, Curriculum and Student Support Committee. There are minutes attached for this. Ms. Green, are there any comments for this item?
There are no comments for this item.
Okay, L1B, Facilities and Technology Committee, no minutes attached. L1C, the Finance Committee did meet and has minutes attached. Ms. Green, do we have public comment on that item?
There are no comments on this item.
Thank you very much. L1D, the Policy Committee has not met, no minutes attached there. That brings us to M, additional suggestions and comments from board members and superintendent. N, future agenda items. Okay, seeing none, that brings us to O, adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
First from trustee Chu, second from trustee Hart, all in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.